Okay, what you see in front of you is what's left of a Dtand Pro lawn tractor. This is the one I picked up a few months ago as a parts tractor. It had a blown engine, had a nice solid deck. The Dtand decks I find always last longer. They seem like they are definitely a much heavier gauge of steel. And when I can find a Dtand deck to go on a machine that's not necessarily a Dtand, but still an AYP, I'll jump on a Dtand deck. So this here is what's left of the machine. I've been pushing around the idea of an engine test stand, and that idea is actually going to be coming together. The plan is to take this chassis here and build it into the engine test stand. Get rid of everything I do not need. That will be the mower, raise and lower, all the safeties. That means the clutch as well. The clutch will be going away. The plan is to make this a portable engine test stand. So I'm going to keep the front end, keep the front hoops and casings. I'm going to put a junk transaxle in the back with the original hoops and casings from this machine. I was originally going to try and sell them, but they're not in the greatest shape to try and sell them. I probably wouldn't get very much out of them, so I rather just keep them on this for my engine test stand. I may or may not keep the wiring for the mower engagement. Probably get rid of that. Get rid of all wiring that I don't need, and get rid of all switches I don't need. It's just make everything all uniform and more easier to work on. The plan is to have this set up for 3 different types of engines: Kohler, Briggs & Stratton Old, and Briggs & Stratton New. If you are familiar with the Briggs & Stratton, the older style uses 2 separate plugs. The newer style uses a single Molex. There's also one other style where it uses on the single cylinders, but most single cylinders nowadays use a Molex, and I can use pigtails to get the older engines wired in to make them run on this stand. That's not really a big deal. I mainly want to make the most common engines I work on this stand. So, like I said, I'm going to keep in the front end. I'll be keeping the steering. This has first gen steering, which is kind of weird also with this machine. It was a newer style machine, pretty much identical to the Murray that took a lot of the parts from this machine, but has first gen. So it's kind of one of those crossover years. This is not the original dash that was in the machine. This is the one from the Murray, but the original one did have the newer style key as well. Which, again, like I said, is kind of weird. It's a newer style in that aspect, but it uses the older steering. The plan is to remove the side steps, strip it all back, and then cut the frame right at the rear fenders, right at the base of the rear fenders. Chop it off right there. Then I have a junk transaxle I will be putting in place. What I'm going to do is gut the transaxle and just keep the axles and the spider gears. I'm also going to cut the transaxle in half to get rid of a lot of the weight that it would have on it. So there won't be any brakes. It'll just basically sit where I put it to sit. Probably have to have a couple chocks for the casings. Not a big deal. The front, I'm probably going to cut right along here and right along here and get rid of this entire front piece right here, just so I can slide engines in and out a lot easier. I don't have to do any maneuvering to get them down in there and to get them to sit in place. All the tensioners back in here will be going away as well. Everything I don't need will be gone. So all the stuff that's for the mower deck, everything for the brake, for the clutch, all goes away. And it'll just be basically a blank chassis with a wiring harness, a spot for a jumper pack or a battery, and a small gas tank. I have a small 11 horse Briggs I bought from auction. I'll be using the gas tank off of that engine, probably mounting it to the side, probably like right here. And then I'll put a battery tray in the center for the battery. I was originally going to mount a battery back here, but I don't have any tanks that would sit in here, and I'd rather not mount one back here. I'd rather mount everything up front and keep it up front. And yes, I'll have that little back piece, but it won't be a big deal. This will be a spot for tools to sit, or I might put a junk battery box there just to store stuff in. Adapters, who knows what else, what I might need for this in the future. So that's the idea. That's what I'm working on. And this will be coming together. This is kind of my next project to work on. I have 2 tractors that are almost done. 2 tractors and a 4-wheeler that are almost done. But I want to try and get started on this. That's why I moved it to where it's currently sitting. So I'll talk to them later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please subscribe and comment, and I will try my best to get video of this as it goes on. Bye for now.